The purpose of this column will be to do a little bit more formatting of student work or work that you might have in a spreadsheet to make it more accessible and make it more readable. So what we'll explore here is wrapping the text, changing font size. We'll be looking at making some columns wider if you want to make them wider, and some tricks that could help you out. And then finally looking at conditional formatting, where you could actually get a certain values or criteria that you have and have it color block cells or change the color of text to make things more viewable and appealing to your eye, if you will. The screencast is going to do all 6 steps in one shot, so please feel free to pause, work on it, go back to it as you need to, and it's a resource that will always be here. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to freeze column A, and I'm going to freeze row 1. So that way, no matter where I am and where I'm scrolling, I won't lose my instructions or my resources. To freeze column A, I'm going to move my cursor to the top left-hand corner until I see the hand. I'm going to click and drag to the end of column A. For row 1, I'll do the same deal. Get the hand and drag it down. Now, if I want to undo it, I can just repeat the process. It's not a problem at all. The purpose of this now is I can scroll and I'll be able to see my stuff really, really easy. Now that that's done, what I'm going to do is look at the font size. To me, this is really hard to read, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm just going to go ahead and select all 4 of these columns at once, and I'll make it something like, 14-point font. It's a little bit better. I also noticed that I have a very big open-ended question that takes up a lot of space. In order to do this, what I can do is I can wrap the text. I can select a column or all of the columns at once and just wholesale make a setting. In order to wrap text, I would click on the text wrapping icon and click on the loop around. What this does now is it loops the text, but as I can see here, it's become very tall because the cell is narrow. If I go ahead and I make it wider, I have a good medium of being able to read it in one spot, but also being able to see the other work. I also noticed that in some cases, this stuff is getting cut off. And so if I select more than one column at a time and I make it wider, what it will do is it will make them equally big. I like this now because I can see the entries and the work that's here. And maybe I just want to go ahead and I just want to wrap the text of everything that's a heading. Maybe I want to make it bold. That way it stands out a little bit more. Now that I have this set up, it's a little bit easier to see. It's a little bit easier to read. And as I scroll down, I can also see that some students wrote a lot more work than others. So something that's really cool about these spreadsheets is you could actually work on making paragraph breaks or line breaks. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and find a cell that has a lot of text. And this one looks really good here. It's row 50. And find a good break in the action. So maybe I see that they're starting to talk about some numbers. I can go and get my cursor right in here. And if I hit Shift or Control Enter again, what I can see here now is going to be some line spaces. Now the cell has a couple of paragraphs, and it's a very simple thing that you can do to format what you need to format. I can also go ahead and do some conditional formatting. So maybe I want to color code regions. In this case, I see Middle East and East Asia, South America, Oceania, and whatnot. When I click on column D, I can either right-click and go to conditional formatting, or I can also go to Format and go to conditional formatting. And I can make some rules. So what I can tell the spreadsheet is if there's any kind of information, I can actually color code it. In this case, I'm going to take the text, and if the text says Middle East, I want to make it maybe a background color of aqua. And then if I see something that says specifically Africa, I can make it red. And if I see another rule of, say, Central America, or how about Arctic, that's shorter to type, I can make that blue because it's cold there, like a glacier. And I can keep on going. I can add these rules, and as you'll see here now, it will color code the cells. If you are interested in more features than that, you can actually look at number values. You can look at dates. You can also provide ranges. If students were providing numbers or something like this, you can actually sort it out and color code it in such a way that they can see it. This might make a good visual way for you to check work, have students get to certain places if they're being tasked to look at a specific region or a specific place. And it's a really, really helpful thing that you can do. If you don't want to change the color of the cells, you could actually format and change the font too, and the font would be a little bit different depending on how you want it to be, which is also a pretty cool thing to see. So the takeaways again would be to freeze your columns and rows, format it like you'd like, and then also think about how you can use that, that control enter to put line breaks in and have more formal paragraphs like you would in a Word document. Play around with this and see how it works for you, and think about how this could be useful either for you or for your students to use too. Thanks for watching.